Welcome back to Everyday Garage, guys, and I'm super excited for this video because in this video the goal is to lay interior paint on that cab, and I cannot wait for that. Now, unfortunately, there's a ton of work to still be done. We got some stuff we got to do with the doors. We still have to actually block and sand the cab. Now, guys, in the last video we went ahead and got all of the front and sheet metal body worked and put into high build, so that's all ready to go. Can we go ahead and appreciate how nice this hood looks? This thing it's straight, it's awesome. I love this thing. I'm so happy for it because I already know as soon as we block this out, and it'll be pretty quick, that thing's gonna be ready for finish paint. Now I gotta put that away and protect it because we're not working on that in this video. And if you guys can tell, the shop it's been organized. I finally found some room to be able to put everything, so I have a little bit of room to work now so we can finally get the rest of this stuff done. So with that, guys, let's get to work. All right, guys, let's just go ahead and start this video off by knocking out these bad boys. Now, if you guys remember, these are the doors that I got separately from the cab because the cab doors are just kind of trashed. But these are great. They've been sandblasted, and this has already been body worked, put into high build. They're almost ready to go. And I got the other one just kind of sitting over here. This one, though, we slightly modified because I had to make it actually fit my cab. So we did a little bit of work on the edge here, making sure the gaps are right. So I need to come in and body work this a little bit, and then we'll sand it down and get it into our high build. And the reason that I have to reprime that, even though it is actually primed, is because I need to get it into this gray. So one thing, if you don't already know, most people do, the color of your primer will mess up the color of your base coat, so it'll be a different shade. And it'd be kind of nice if after all this work that the truck would actually be one color. So we'll go ahead and get that done, and then, you know, I have all these other little pieces we're gonna have to square it away before we can actually start painting that cab. Now, the first thing I wanna do is just kind of, you know, clean up all this filth that I got over it, because I was just carelessly putting my fingerprints all over it. That way, when I go to actually sand this thing down, I'm not just sanding my grease stains into it. Just a little wax and grease remover. We'll get this cleaned up, guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sand it down. I wanna sand it down first because just in case there's little areas or imperfections that got beat up over the time, that we can just make sure that all gets filled in and body worked properly before I, you know, have to come in and do this edge. That way, you know, I'm not having to bust out the filler 4 or 5 times. All right, all cleaned up, and of course I found some issues. That's just kind of how it goes. Went ahead and pulled out the other door and got all that cleaned up too. Now, here we go. So some of the issues are, there's a little bit of a low that needs to be banged out here. We'll take care of that. I did forget that my grinder marks are pretty rough, so we're gonna have to file all that stuff. A little ding here, just little stuff that I have to go through and be filled, and kind of imperfections we'll kind of work on, but it's still actually in really, really good shape. And then over here, same idea. This one had some more gouges I didn't even realize after I got it all cleaned up. So we'll have to fill these really bad, deep scratches, but no big deal. Like I said, it's in really good shape. One of the downsides, though, on both of the doors is, I guess I didn't realize it. Let me see if I can bring you here. Where am I? Over here. This part is cut out. Now, this is supposed to have a piece of metal through here that kind of supports this so it doesn't, you know, crunch in like that, because this is where the vent window goes. Looks like they cut it out. Now, the only reason someone would cut that out, and it's probably why they ended up selling these to me for so cheap, is because they were probably trying to convert this to the 47 to 50 doors, the one without the vent window. But it takes a lot more than just cutting that piece out to get the changeover, which is what they realized. So we'll have to weld in a piece there, which kind of sucks. And then over here, see if you guys can see it, is the window scraper. It was painted, so I didn't notice it at first. That is just a petrified piece of rubber. That is not supposed to be there. And it's there on both doors. Here it is. Let's see. Oh, you can't see it. It's flipped over. So we'll have to dig those out. You know, just all the little things, which means, as I always say, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought, but we'll get these things whipped into shape. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to go through and sand. Luckily, I'll be able to DA sand the front, I think. I think over on this side, though, because of all the little ridges and body lines, I'm probably going to have to hand sand, which is, you know, of course. Can't get your break, but let's go ahead and just knock it out so we can move on. I got them all cleaned up and they're looking pretty good. You saw me sand these out. I'm not mad about it at all. They're super straight, guys. There's just a little bit of bumps and I'm glad I did it. So here is actually pretty noticeable. Couldn't sand this out and you can feel it's a low. A little bit of spots here. We'll go through and kind of mark them off. And then over here, same idea. There's a couple little like spot welds where the inner brace right here holds for the wing window. So we'll go through and kind of clean all this up. But man, it came out really, really good. Look at that. Now I'm pretty happy with it. Over here kind of sucks though. You can kind of feel that it's really bumpy. That's the downside. So if I try to hammer and dolly this out, I'm just gonna mess this up anyway. So I'm gonna try it a little bit, but not too much. May have to add a little filler here. But everything else is really solid. Now, what I want to work on now here is kind of what I talked to you guys about. Let me see if I could show you again. It's right here. I need to put that support piece in, and you can see this. It was like an L bracket, or actually it's like a C channel that has another piece right here. And they cut it off, so I need to come in and just weld in another piece. Now I'm just gonna line up the edge there. Where do we need it? Right about here. Perfect. And then I measured between here and here. That's about 3/4 of an inch. So just kind of come up here and then 3/4 of an inch over and just slice it off. I'll just use my freshly sanded door here as a table, you know, no problem with that. Let's see, 3/4 of an inch, get my square out and just, man. It would help if I could actually cut in a straight line, wouldn't it? Come on, there we go. Yeah, that didn't work out. Let me try that again. Well, after a little back and forth, I got it cut out and I went ahead and cut the one for the other door. It's not exactly what I would call straight. Turns out straight lines are difficult for me, but I think it's gonna work out. So let's go ahead and test fit it. All right, let's see. It's supposed to go kind of like that. Oh, it actually fits pretty good. It's not great if I'm being honest, but it'll get the job done. Weld in right there. All right, it's all cleaned up and kind of sitting there. Now you can see where I'm going to weld right there. And then at the bottom, it just comes up right under this piece, and there was a piece that was cut off. So I'm just going to try to weld there. All right, guys, and there's the end result. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It looks pretty good. Now, it was really hard to grind all of that weld out, but the wing window covers it. And let me show you. Went ahead and did the driver's side already, so I have that part welded in. And then I just wanted to fit up the wing window, especially since this wing window isn't for this door. So I should have checked this earlier, but it actually fits really well. All the holes are lining up. The holes line up where they need to go. And even better, it's nice and sturdy now and not collapsing. So this is gonna work out well. And like I said, it covers it. And then there's an interior window molding. So all that stuff gets covered. I'm not worried about it. All that matters is it's nice and strong and it's good to go. Now, as you can see, this is the driver's side wing window and it's beat up, guys. It needs some love still. You can see how rotted out of here. I'm gonna have to rebuild this thing. No matter how far I keep getting in this project, it's things like this that keep reminding me how much more I still have to do. It does seem never ending, but I will get there. Now that it's all set up, guys, let's flip it out, get ready to kind of fill the areas we need to fill so we can start priming this up and move on from the doors. Well, guys, I went ahead and jumped ahead on you because I just wanted to knock out the rest of the bodywork. You saw me kind of starting on it, but I went through and just finished it out because it's sanding, and I know that just gets incredibly boring. And plus, I needed to get this done. So this is the door with that lip for the driver's side. It's already knocked out. And then over here, we kind of got the little lows, little stuff. I think there wasn't even much on this door that was needed. Over here, same kind of thing. You saw me kind of sand out all these little areas, got the lows out. Over here, there was one. Just little stuff like that. And I think I even flipped over and got the other side of this. And also, I got the the window scraper out. So that was that petrified rubber that was apparently just going to get painted by the last guy. We still need to get it out of here. Well, some things have changed in here, guys. As you can see, I got the doors hung up on the meat slabs, just hanging down like a sack of potatoes. This is the best way to get it done. This hook idea is awesome. I'm actually just gonna leave them up there for whenever I need to do other stuff. This just works out so well. Allows me to get to both sides. It's just gonna be super easy to do. And then I brought out my Amazon clothing rack because I needed to do all the little parts. This is all the interior stuff, guys. The little thing for the door latches, you know, the interior lamp, the bar trims, this little tab, shifter. Ooh, look at this little thing, the GMC logo. It's all the little stuff, guys, that you just got to keep pounding away at. And I always forget how much there really is to do this restorational style build. Now, speaking of which, as you guys can tell, the plastic has fallen down in the shop. It's gone. And it's more like I ripped it down in a fury because I had lost a really, really important part of the hydromatic shifter. Let me show you guys. This little bad boy was playing hide and seek on me, and I could not find it for the life of me. And it's so dumb and small, but it's super important because this little part here is what actually the internals of the shifter pivot on when you're selecting your gears. And I tore this place apart in a fury just looking for it because it's not like you can just run out to a shop and buy that thing off a shelf. So I needed to find that thing. And after some choice words and some things I can't ever repeat on YouTube, I was able to find it. It was down under this cabin over there just hiding away from me. But now we have it ready to go, guys. And also what I have is this little button here. This little button is a cable hole filler block off thing. I'm not describing it well. For the hydromatic. That's hydromatic specific. And let me show you guys. So if you come inside the cab here, and I've been sneaking in here so you can get in there. It has a hole for a throttle cable and for the choke cable. So it comes in here and it blocks off that hole. Now why you need that blocked off is because the hydromatic actually came with an electric choke. So, which was like a big deal back then. It was like never had they had that on the truck. So it was kind of a luxury item. So it's all the little stuff you can't lose, guys. So I'm glad I have it and it's ready to go. Now, let's go ahead and throw up some more plastic, get it all ready to go so we can start laying some paint. And the paint booth is up, or as I like to call it, the kill room. Now, having all this up seems kind of futile. You definitely still get overspray on the other side of the shop, but it does keep down on it quite a bit. And I'm telling you, if you don't, it just gets everywhere and it is a pain in the butt to get off there. So we're ready to go, guys. And what I'm gonna be using is epoxy primer. The SPI stuff, I've shown this a bunch. Now, I can use this as a sealer, which is essentially what I'm going to be doing with this, laying this over the high build like that. I don't know if you can do that with all epoxy primers, so look into your TDS sheet before you do that, but that's what I'm doing, just kind of sealing this all up. Now, also, I'm going to be using gray. I've been usually using black before, but I'm going to use gray right now. And the reason I decided to do that was because I want to just epoxy all these little pieces and then just throw some base coat on it and not worry about it. I'm not going to high build everything. That is way too much work. So that's what I'm going to do. And then like I kind of said earlier, if your primer is different than your base coat, it can change the hues. So at least if it's gray, it probably won't be the same gray. I don't know. I haven't opened it, but maybe it'll, you know, be in the same ballpark. I don't even know if that's a thing, but you know, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it sounds good. So that's what we're doing, guys. We're going to throw this on. So let's go ahead and start painting. Well, you guys saw me laying all the paint and getting paint on everything, and it's already actually been a couple hours. I just let everything kind of tack up and stuff. Plus, I needed a break because the paint failed on this door. I'm just going to tell you that now, guys, and I have no idea what happened, but it destroyed it. And, well, I do know what happened, and we'll kind of go over it, but it's just a huge paint fail. I'm a bit frustrated. I'm not going to lie, guys. I needed a break. So I was spraying the door, as you guys saw, and then as I'm going to leave, it just started sagging. Like it just, like I was putting it on grease or something. It just started running away, separating really fast, fish-eyeing, separating just all over the panel, all over the door. Even up here, did the same thing. And it looks weird, like you can see it's like milky in there, and I don't understand that. On the other side, same idea, a bunch of fish eyes. Now, your first thought, you're like, well, did you clean the panel, Jason? Yes, I waxed and greased it, and I sanded every inch of this, and maybe it was a reaction with the paint, but it didn't make sense to me, because some of where it actually tacked up really well, it just looked like there might be a problem with the paint, so this is what it actually ended up being. So what I thought was, I ended up coming over here when I was mixing stuff up, and I have this activator. This is the one that came with the gray, and this is the activator that came with the black, but they're the same part number. You know? So I was like, why don't I use the rest of this one before I open this one? Because that just seems to make sense. So I did that, and that's what's in here. But it destroyed the door. So I came over and I just swapped it all out. I cleaned the gun, and I filled it up with the activator from here, and check out how this door came out. This one is perfect. I sprayed it right away because I was like, well, I might as well just test to see if that was it, and it's perfect. And so it can't be the paint or anything because it's the same paint that was underneath here. I mean, look at this. It looks awesome, actually. I'm actually really happy with this door. Check it out. I mean, take a second to look how straight and beautiful this door looks. And it's a driver's side, so I'm super happy about that. It came out great, guys. And everything else sprayed amazing. Here's the molding. Well, that's the back side. Here's the interior garnish molding. Looks awesome. And then over here, I already utilized our drying rack again for all of the little parts, guys. None of it had an issue. Even our shifter here. I mean, just look how awesome it looks. So that's what it was, but I don't understand why that was a problem. It's the same part number. It's the same epoxy, same brand. That's just so strange to me. And it's not like they ship these things in like a pair, like this is mixed just for that epoxy. You know, you go into a store, it's like, oh, here's the activator for that brand, and here's the epoxy for that brand. It's so strange, guys. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this before or actually know why that would cause that. Comment down below, because I am blown away. But that's not the worst part, guys. Is okay, sure, that happened and things happen. Honestly, I've been pretty lucky where this is my first paint fail. But this is huge because now I have to sand this whole door down. And I have to go over it all over again before I can ever put it in high build. I mean, just see how bad it is. And the worst part about that, like I was saying, guys, is that just puts me behind because I have a lot of time. You know, I'm trying to get videos out to you guys. I'm trying to get things done around here. So tomorrow we're supposed to be on the cab and, you know, sanding that and getting that ready to finally put interior paint. But instead, I might just be doing the door again. That really sucks. Because what I was supposed to do tonight is right about now, you could probably high build it, let it sit and dry overnight because I got somewhere I got to be right now. But that's not what we can do. But I will not be defeated. I will not be beat by this thing. We'll come back. Life happens. You just got to take it as it goes. So the plan now is I do have somewhere to get to be. If I can get back in time, we'll try to sand it tonight. If not, sand it and high build it tomorrow. I'm not going to even deal with epoxy again, I don't think. Just sand it out, get it smooth, put it in high build. And that's just going to be the plan. And we're going to get done when we can get done, guys. But, you know, it happens and that sucks. But, hey, if you guys know what happened, let me know. But, all right, let it dry up and stuff like that. And I'll bring you back when we're ready to just tackle this huge thing. Man. All right, guys, I'm back from what I needed to do, and it's late, guys, like almost early morning late. But I need to get in here and get this done so the high build can dry overnight so we can put this stuff away. Like I said, space is a huge problem in here. So tonight I got to be out here. Now, it's already soft enough to touch, and it's going to be dry enough now for us to be able to just wet sand it. So what I have over here, guys, is I went ahead and got some 180 on like a soft contour block. And I'm just gonna try to wet sand it out. Now I know that 180 is kind of light, but I'm not really trying to rough anything. I just want to get it smoothed. So I'm optimistically just gonna tear into this and see how well I can fix it. It sucks, but like I said, if I can get it smoothed out and going good, we'll just high build over it and pretend like this never happened. So let's just jump in and see what I can do. And And I think I saved it, guys. I think we're gonna be good to go. You saw me sanding the heck out of this thing, but it's super smooth. You can't feel anything anymore. But man, that ended up being a way more than I thought. I thought, yeah, I got a little spot here, spot here, spot here. No, it was the whole panel. Whatever. It got done and we're good to go. And you know, you saw me do this side, so it's all straightened out. Luckily, there wasn't a ton on this side. The sucky part was, you know, man, this thing is such a mess. Anyways, I went through sandpaper like crazy. It just kept loading up the sandpaper. But we're good to go. It's all straightened out. I went ahead and wiped it already down with the rag and everything, so it's clean. So let's go ahead and throw this in high build so I could try to get some sleep tonight. That would be kind of nice. All right, I'm mixed up, ready to go. We got our high build in here. I went ahead and did the 10% reduction. Now let's hope we don't have any more paint fails. Well, it's the next morning, guys, or should I say it's later in the morning than it was when I was painting this. That's what time it is. Now, actually, I'm super excited, guys. It came out good. I think we were able to save this panel. Check it out. This is where that giant drip was. There's nothing. It's awesome. It's smooth. It feels really good. That's awesome. That was really scary at first, but the whole door is just really nice now. And with a little perseverance, guys, we were able to knock this out. Crisis averted. That was scary, but we got it done. Now we get to jump on the cab finally. And really finally see, after it's been sitting there a while now, all the hard work, start working towards actual finished paint. But first I figure what to do with these. I have no room. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right, let's finally take this thing out of its hibernation. Come on. Finally found a little bit of room in the shop. Now, to find the room, I may or may not have put the doors in one of our guest rooms. Now, I'm not going to confirm or deny, but no one tell my wife. Now, let's get this bad boy exposed. Yeah, okay. I forgot how absolutely gorgeous this thing was. Check it out, guys. It's just so nice to see it. It's definitely super textured from... definitely not thinning this out, so it's going to take quite a bit of sanding to get everything smoothed out, but it's nice and straight. Everything just looks awesome. Just excited about this project all over again. This looks great, guys. So the biggest concern is going to be the hood. So we had a bunch of pits up there, if any of you guys remember, so definitely when blocking that out, hopefully we can get it out. If not, we'll have to deal with that. And then down over here. So the belt line was a big issue. You can actually see some issues here. Now, I hosed, no lie, probably about 8 coats. So just on the belt line, I knew that was going to be an issue, so I really stacked them. So hopefully we can sand most of this out, and then whatever we have to deal with, we'll kind of just fill. But as far as everything else, it looks great, guys. I don't see this being a huge issue. And then jumping inside, same thing. I think everything is really good here. It just needs to be sanded smooth. Now, you guys already know, if you're familiar with the channel, I've never done any of this before. But I did a lot of research on kind of blocking out high build and getting it ready for base coat. And I think the thing about this truck, it's super unique in the idea that it doesn't have any big panels at all. Like, I don't have anything to really block out but the roof and the back, because reality, the biggest part of this whole cab is the door. So that door will need to be blocked out, but then you just have this small panel. This is all under the hood. You have the little strip here, you know, the A-pillars, nothing. It's the same thing. There's no big panels on this thing. And this car, because when I was looking at videos, people talk about, they're like, oh, you want to block your doors into your fenders, into your, you know, quarter panels. Well, I don't have any of that. And the fenders are these giant bubble things that need to be totally blocked themselves. So there isn't a ton of like blocking work or smoothing work that needs to be done. So we're kind of lucky with that. I don't have to just block sand a bunch of stuff. This is the biggest panel. We got to make sure this is kind of straight. The hood, the hood, the roof, that thing. And I think everything else is just about smoothing and correcting and making sure it's sanded up to a grit where I can actually lay base coat. The same thing with inside. The dash is so bubbly, everything in here, small little panels, no big deal. So that's gonna be the goal right now, guys. I'm just gonna jump in and just start sanding it out. Now to start this off, guys, you know how I like to do it. Let's just go ahead and tackle the hardest part, which is gonna be the giant panel back here. So what I went ahead and did was taped off this body line. Now, I don't know if this is a good idea, but like I said, research said that you kind of tape your body line so your sandpaper doesn't just kind of edge into it. You just kind of come up to it safely and not worry about kind of damaging your body line. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Now, we already know with this that it's not super straight. This was the panel that was warped and beat up from sandblasting, so I'm not gonna go crazy trying to make it straight. Like the cab covers like all of this. I mean the bed. So I'm just gonna get it nice and flat as I can without trying to sand through the high build. Oh yeah, we got some sanding to do. And there's kind of the first scuff, guys. You see what I mean? So this is a high, right? A lot of contact, high, a lot of contact. Sandpaper never even hit right here. So there's quite a bit of it. Now I know there's kind of a bunch of lows right here at the bottom. I left these on purpose, so I'm not worried about going this low. I knew the bed would cover it, and I just didn't want as little filler as I could in here. So I left all the kind of lows there. It's just kind of smoothing the rest out. Really big high here. It looks like a bad indentation. We'll have to figure that out. A little bit better over here. Simple highs and lows. Good high here. Yeah, it's gonna need a lot of work. So the plan is just to keep at this and see how straight I can get it, guys. I'll just start knocking it out. Well, forever later, guys, this is coming out really, really good. I'm super stoked about it. Let's kind of just go over the overview of kind of the challenges I'm facing now. First, you guys saw me take these pits out. How awesome is that? This truck has had pits in this belt line since I had it, and it just came all out. Really smooth, really nice. I even jumped over here where they were like horrible, and the high build took it right out. I'm so stoked about that. And then what you guys didn't see is after I did that, I guide coated the whole thing again, and then I blended in the sanding that I did. So it's all super straight, super flat. So this is kind of the end result. Now all the little spots you see are just the epoxy showing through, which is kind of nice about the black epoxy. Really kind of lets you know what's going on. Now, guys, it's crazy flat. I'm really happy. The high build did all the work it was supposed to. You barely feel anything. There's a bit of a wave right here at this high, but I'm not going to worry about that. As far as I'm concerned, this is done. But the biggest problem I'm running into, and if you guys have ideas for it, let me know, is, let me see if it'll show up on camera. I think my light is dying, is it's got all this texturing. Now, I could come in and just sand the texturing out, but as you see, I would just be destroying all the flatness I just created. And there's a bunch of little like dimples and pits. It's not perfect. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go through and, you know, get it all as good as I can get it and then kind of glaze putty or something like that. I'm not really sure to fill all that. I would love to hear what you guys have to say because again, I'm not painting the outside in this video, so I will be able to see your guys' comments. So jump down, let me know what I should do. I think overall thing is just a little bit of glaze, you know, that little glaze putty you can put in, smooth it out, one last prime on the back, but way smoother with some reducer because to sand out all of this roughness was tough, and then block it out and we'll be done. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But it looks great, guys, looks so, so good. Now, there's a ton to do. Like I said, I think I told you guys, this took me 2 hours. So what I wanna do real quick is take this tape off, jump down and see if I can get the rest of the belt line out like that, the pits that are up here. If that comes out good, guys, we'll just jump through, I'll slam through and take care of the rest of the cab. All right, here it is, guys. Same idea. So I just taped off both sides of the body line, and I'm just gonna start sanding away. Now all the pits are at the bottom here because this is the area that got really affected. So that's mainly what I'm gonna focus on, blend it in up here and see how well it comes out. But I'm pretty optimistic on this one. You know, for a guy that has never done this, I'm pretty happy with the way it's turning out. It's gonna be clearly obvious this truck is not gonna be perfect, but I'm gonna love every moment of driving. This is awesome, guys. So what I'm saying is all the pits came out. Check it out. Nothing, it's just perfectly smooth belt line. Everything worked right out. That worked out great, guys. And then if you see here, I used some guide code. I didn't show that where, you know, just to make sure it was flat and I wasn't just, you know, doing this while sanding it all out. Came out really, really good. Oh, I'm super happy. Now it's coming out good, guys, but it is taking forever. Just the way it goes. So what I'm gonna do now is just start pounding it out. And I know you guys are getting tired of watching me sand. So let's just, you know, me hit the cab up. We'll get it done as best as I can. I'll bring you guys back. It's a little dusty, if you can't tell. And it's also snowing on my toolbox. And apparently I've turned into father time. Guys, this is now, let me just put it, I've been out total of 9 hours. I've been sanding this cab and it's only 3/4 of the way through on the first sand. This has been a terrible experience. It's crazy, guys. Let me show you where we're at. You saw me block out the back here, and then I jumped to the top. So all that is done. I've got all this done, and then I've hand sanded all of these little window sills. All of this stuff is ready to go. And then I haven't done this side. This is all that's really left now is just the door jamb here and the cowl area. I've already done the other door jamb. I've done the pillars, the roof. And I've already done this cowl. Don't fall, Jason. It's actually came out really good. Now, what's taking so long is how horribly orange peely this is. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera, but this stuff it's awful. It's like trying to sand through the Rocky Mountains. Like, let me give you a good little kind of show here. So, do you see all that? I have to sand all of that level and down before I can even move on to anything else. And I have to do that with hand sanding in the jams, and I had to do that on the belt line and these little areas here. It's just terrible. Like, I'm so frustrated with how this laid down because it created a mountain more work. Let me show you over here on the hood. So this is after I realized how bad it was, and I told you guys I was reducing it. There's none of that. It's just a little bit that should be easy to sand out, but man. So because of the mountain range and I'm pretty much sanding through, it's like the whole cab is pitted. It's been an exhausting amount of work, and it still is gonna be. I still have to get through that. And then once I get done with the 120, it's 180, 320, you know, whatever, 220, 320, something like that. It's gonna be a ton of work. Now with that, guys, also, I don't know if I could show you because I don't have my stool out, but I couldn't get all the pits out on the roof. So the roof definitely will have to be filled. The pits did not come out all the way like it did with the belt line and some of the other areas. So we'll definitely have to get up there and then spot prime that because I'm not repriming this whole cab and going over this again. It'll be a fill and spot prime. We'll go through and get all the pinholes out of the back here, which is mainly probably because there was a lot of filler. And then we'll spot prime just the back and we should be good to go. Well, guys, I have to admit defeat. I did not get the cab done. It just isn't going to happen. I'm running out of time. It's 2 days later, but I worked the 12-hour shifts in between these 2 days, so I've only had a couple hours after I get off work, so I haven't been able to get it all done. Now, what I did get done is the entire exterior is done, which is a big milestone, so I'm pretty happy about that. And hand sanding these louvers were, yeah, that was a blast. But I got the rockers blocked, so I forgot that they were pretty pitted, so the high bill got all that out, so I'm pretty happy with that. But as you can see, I got a lot of burn through. So a lot of epoxy is showing through here. All of this is done. It's super smooth. It's up to 320 right now, so I'm pretty happy with that. All in all, guys, it's getting pretty close, and it's really awesome to see this sanded and almost prepped for paint. Now, what's not done is the interior. So I didn't get this back panel done or any of this stuff. The dash is 90% done. It's really, really smooth. I got all the little body lines in here. And these body lines, that was awful. That made me almost want to push this thing outside and just sell it on the curb because those took forever. But it's done. As you can see, I've guide coated the belt line again. I wanted to make sure it was really smooth all the way across. I got my long block out. All the little stuff. I was just really bummed because I wanted this cab 100% done, at least by the end of this video, because when I started this video, I wanted to lay paint. And if you guys can tell, this giant, just disgusting mess in here. I'm pretty far from paint, guys. But with that being said, guys, I'm gonna finish this cab off camera, and then in the next video, we're gonna pull out the doors. And I've already checked the doors. So I remember I told you guys, the big problem I had is hand sanding everything because of how badly I textured this cab. I actually reached out to some people after this, and most people prime, and then they just do, you know, they block what they need to, and then they hand sand with like 600 grit or 320 right off in the little areas, and they're done. But because of the texturing, I had a colossal job ahead of me. that's kind of what happened here, and that's why this was so bad, but I live and learn. I made a mistake, and it's kind of on me. But just like the hood, which is really good and not textured, all of the other stuff in high build is not that way because I reduced it. So we'll be fine on the doors and all that stuff. So like I was saying, next video, guys, we will get the doors out, we'll block those and get them all cleaned up, and then we'll literally just paint the interior and the exterior, the cab and the doors in the next video. So at least, sorry that this isn't as good of a video, guys. It's very just much all sanding and kind of prep work, but at least in the next video, I can 100% guarantee, I won't even release it. That's how much I'm gonna guarantee it, that the cab will be 100% painted the next time you see this, guys. So with that, guys, that is a video. As always, thank you for everything. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you see anything else I did wrong or have any recommendations of how not to mess up like this next time, put them down below. But as always, guys, if I can do any of this, so can you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.